So it's my fifth day in China, and I thought I'd make a video and just sort of, just tell everybody I'm fine, I'm safe, everything's cool, and maybe speak about my 5 days so far. A couple of big things today. I'm moving into my apartment today. Also, I was told, which is nice. I can't wait for that. That's in a different city. I'm currently in Hangzhou. The apartment is in Suchao. And so that's very exciting. It's a two-bedroom apartment, fully furnished with everything, aircon, heater, blah blah blah, and it's got a washing machine, and that's very important, and I'll explain that in a little bit why. It also has free Wi-Fi access and blah blah blah. So fully loaded, very nice. I've seen the photos, very nice, and it's got a Western style toilet. Also another important point, and I'll explain that a little bit why. Um, anyway, so 5 days in China. I've seen some weird stuff. Let's start with the flats, the hotel flats, the little rooms. I've stayed in a double room as well as a single room. I actually booked a single room, but when I got here, they put me into a double room, and I think it was just to impress me. They charged me single rates, so that was nice. But I think they just did it to impress me because I was in there for the weekend. And then Monday, I assumed that they got guests that obviously needed the room. So they asked me if I minded moving to a single room, which I said, no, I don't mind because the bathrooms in the single rooms are bigger, or the shower at least is bigger in the single rooms than they are in the double rooms. And I like a big shower. So I really didn't mind. Um, the rooms come fully loaded with everything: TV, aircon, internet, you name it. And it's also like what you expect from a hotel. You know, you got pretty much everything you want. But there are a couple of weird things I noticed. Number one, there is ashtrays in the room. Every single room has an ashtray, but inside the ashtray is a no smoking sign. So you're not allowed to smoke in the hotel, but they provide you with an ashtray. I mean, how weird is that? So that was one thing I noticed that was a little weird. The other is there is no fridges in any of the rooms. In fact, there's no fridges in the whole hotel. In China, just about everything is served warm. You want to buy a cool drink, it's warm. Even bottled, it's warm. You want to buy water, it's warm. There are a few select shops, and those are usually the ones that sort of sell more Western stuff. They'll have like cold cool drink, but for the majority of shops, it's all warm. And of course, those shops that do sell cold cool drink are quite far apart. So if you're in some area or whatever that one of those shops aren't close by, you're kind of stuck with warm cool drink on a hot day. So yeah, that's something to get used to. Um, so there are no fridges at all. So I've got one in the apartment, so that's nice. Um, the other thing I noticed is they actually give you shoes in the rooms. You get like flip flops, and then you get, I mean, slippers, and you also get flip flops. Those plastic flip flops, you see them in South Africa everywhere. Everybody wears them. They give you like two pairs of that in each room and two pairs of slippers. They also provide combs and toothbrushes and you name it. It's like a stockpile here of items that they actually put into the room. So the people that hoard stuff, they'll love these hotels. A couple other weird stuff I've seen. The toilets. For the most part, the hotel has Western style toilets, and some of the Western bars will have Western style toilets, which means your standard toilet. But any kind of Chinese place, they've got these weird toilets where it's kind of just like a hole in the floor with a flusher. And I'm not quite sure how that whole system works, and I didn't want to find out. But very weird toilets. So yeah, I'll let your imagination do the wondering there. Um, their transport system seems to be very nice. You've got very wide roads with lots of lanes. They've got like 4 lanes for driving, and then they've got 2 bus lanes, and then they've got 2 lanes for people that are walking and driving little bikes and things like that. Bicycles and e-bikes, electronic bikes, are very popular here. You see them a lot, like a lot. And they obviously drive on the walkway. Um, the bus system is very nice. It actually works. The buses are nice and clean and air conditioned, and yeah, it's very cheap to go, to travel by bus. It's like 4 rand in South African money, which is 2 RMB. You kind of just pop in your 2 coins and you just go wherever, how many ever stops you want. So very efficient, very weird looking as well, the buses, but from a South African perspective, like they've got like a limited amount of seats, and then it's like open in the middle, and you kind of have these railings with these handles, and you can't just stand and hold on for dear life because those guys don't take nonsense. I mean, those buses motor. Um, and you've got a computer screen with a woman that pops up and she makes all the announcements and all that stuff. So very efficient, very nice. You have taxis. The taxis are okay for the most part. Um, they, for example, go. I think it's the first 3 kilometers is 11 RMB, which is 22 rand, and then they start charging per kilometer after that, or per set amount of kilometers. I don't know. They hardly ever go over about 15 to 20 RMB. One night I traveled quite far in the city and it was late, and so the buses weren't running, so I used a taxi. And I mean, this guy drove forever, and the bill came to 20 RMB. So yeah, it's quite cheap actually if you consider what the taxis in South Africa cost. I'm not talking about the black taxis; they don't have those here. I'm talking about a normal taxi. I remember I flew to Johannesburg last year for the weekend, and I think it was like 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers from where I was to the airport, and we were charged almost 250 rand for that little 3 kilometer trip with a normal taxi. So considering here you drive about 10, 15 kilometers for about 40 rand, it's actually very cheap. Um, the They serve coffee here, mostly cold, unless you ask for hot coffee, and you don't get served any sugar. You have to specify, you have to ask for sugar, otherwise you don't get. They kind of give you your coffee, take your money, and just move on to the next customer. So you have to say sugar, and they don't understand the word sugar, so you have to say tang, tang, or beitang, which is sugar in Chinese. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing all the words right, but I know most of the words already. I've learned quite a few Chinese words. So you get used to asking for sugar and straw and that kind of thing. Straw with juice, sugar with coffee, obviously. The sugar is, well, some places they'll give you sugar. For the most part, though, they'll give you these little tubs with like a liquid sugar. It's like it says on there, it says sweetening syrup or whatever. So yeah, the sugar comes in liquid form for the most part, like wherever you go. So I also saw that for the first time. And then I saw that along the side of the road you have these like electricity boxes just standing in the middle of nowhere with leads, and I couldn't understand at first what they were for, because the plugs on them seemed like the same plugs that go into a computer. And then I walked past one of the e-bikes and I saw the adapter on the e-bike looks a lot like the computer plug, so I'm assuming that those chargers are for the e-bikes, which makes sense. You're kind of driving, you're low on power, you can just pull off the side of the road, pop in some coins and charge your bike and then carry on driving. So they have a very efficient transport system that you can even charge your bike on the go. So that's also quite nice. Everything's open late here, very late. Even like the clubs are open till like 4 in the morning. And even 4 in the morning, they don't really close. They just kind of close the doors and so forth. Um, if you know where to buy stuff, uh, things are very cheap. If you just go to any shop, you probably end up paying an arm and a leg. I bought 2 pairs of pants and three button shirts for about 200, 220 RMB. So it's about 440 rand, but that was for two shorts and 3 button shirts, which is quite cheap considering what things cost in South Africa. the same amount of clothes would probably cost me 1,000 rand there. Um, and they're fairly nice, It's jean shorts, so it's tough. It's usually quite expensive. Um, the coffee, I found a place that sells coffee cheap now, but the few places I did see coffee, it was very expensive. Coffee is very expensive here. About 80 odd rand a cup of coffee. That's how expensive coffee is. I found a place that sells coffee for about 20 rand a cup. So yeah, I limit my amount of coffee I drink. Usually maybe like 1 cup a day, maybe less. I've just had I think maybe 3 or 4 cups in total. Um, I was quite shocked to see the price of coffee. Um, food is quite cheap. Even Western food is quite cheap, I must admit. For example, Western food is obviously the kind of food you get in South Africa. So if you go to McDonald's or something, you'll buy like a burger, a chips, and a cool drink between 17 and 20 RMB. And of course, 2 rand is 1 RMB, or just a little under 2 rand. So looking at about 30 odd to 40 rand for a whole meal at McDonald's. Where in South Africa, a whole meal is usually 50 odd rand. So it's about 20 rand cheaper. Cigarettes also a bit cheaper. Um, Marlboro in South Africa is already close on 40 bucks. Some places are even more than 40 rand. Marlboros here will cost you about 20 odd rand for a box. So cigarettes are fairly cheap too. The local cigarettes even cheaper, but I don't know any of those brands, so yeah. um, People don't really speak much English, and I find that odd because everybody has an iPhone. Just about everywhere I go, I see iPhones. Old people, young people, especially the younger people. Everybody has iPhone, So definitely the economy is booming because I don't see that in South Africa. I see a lot of Samsungs, but I mean I don't see iPhones. Yeah, everybody just about has an iPhone. And one of the strange things is I've seen them typing on the iPhone. I mean, I've gone to coffee with one or two people, and I see them typing away on WeChat, which is very popular here. And the letters are all in English. So, I mean, the keyboard's English. So they'll type on the keyboard, and then it pops the Chinese words on top, and then they'll select that word. So it will be like they'll push like A, and then the Chinese word. Then the next letter they type like that. And I find it strange that they're actually typing on English letters, but they can't speak, pronounce, or write English at all. So just a lot of weird stuff that I've seen here. I've seen guys drinking and eating really weird stuff. I was on the bus one morning, and the bus driver had this sort of drink. Every time he'd stop at a robot or whatever, he would pull out this drink that looked like water with cinnamon sticks in it. And I thought he was going to eat these sticks. It's like it was leaves of some kind or whatever. But then he was kind of drinking the water and then putting it down, and so I thought that was very weird. I don't know what that was, but it just looked weird. Uh, and then sometimes when you walk into the shops, they've got these like steaming pots and stuff, and it kind of looks like jellyfish inside, busy brewing. I don't know what the hell. And then the people will line up, and you'd think that it's the jellyfish that they would come, or whatever that is. Looks like it's got tentacles, whatever that is, but it's not. They come for that liquid. The guy just pours the liquid into a cup, and then off they go. So yeah, some very strange stuff that I've seen here. But I like it. It's safe. Very, very safe. Crime is very low here. They're very strict on law, which is nice, and the policing system is excellent. Um, I couldn't sleep one night, so I went out for a cigarette. It was like 4:23 a.m. in the morning, and I went outside in front of the hotel, and I was kind of standing there, and the streets were quiet. Not many people walking around at all. In fact, I was the only one in the road. It was like just past 4 a.m. The taxis still operate 24 hours a day. So no matter where you are, every like couple of minutes a taxi will come past. I think in about a 15-minute period, I saw about 8 taxis come past me. And I'm not even in a busy road. And this woman just came walking down the street, just like, wow. I think she was early 20s, maybe 23 if I have to guess. and she looked like she was, dolled up or whatever. So I'm guessing she just came from a club. She had a handbag and so forth, and she was just walking down the street. I'm assuming she was going home, but she was walking carefree, like she didn't have a worry in the world. And I thought to myself, wow, you will not see that in South Africa. There's no ways a woman will be walking 4 a.m. in the morning down some street. That's just not on in South Africa. Yet here it's so safe you can actually do it. Like nobody will think of harming you or anything. So that I really like that. Um, the crimes they do have here is like petty theft crimes. It's like pickpocketing, that kind of thing. And I think that's more in huge crowded areas, maybe, or places like Shanghai Airport. The airports and that kind of thing, where they might target foreigners. In the city itself, I've never encountered it, never seen it. Nobody's bumping into me. Nobody's trying to pick my pocket. So I haven't seen any of that in the actual city itself. Yeah, so it's very hot here, very, very humid. Uh, Last night at about between 12 and 1, somewhere between 12 and 1, I checked and it was still 30, 31 degrees. It's very hot. Thank God for the air cons in the rooms. But like the moment I open the door to go out, even in the middle of the night, that heat wave just hits you. So summers are very hot here, and it's not the same dry heat that you find in South Africa. It's like a very, very humid. You're kind of very sweaty. I think I take a shower about 5 times a day in this place. Um, yeah, and coming to the hot drinks, even if you're going to like the company that I'm going to be working for, a couple of times I've had to sit in on orientation and things, just them getting me up to speed about China and what to expect. And so they put me into the boardrooms, and once again probably to kind of impress me. And these 5 or 6 guys will come out there and sit down, and they'll ask me, do you want some water, or whatever. And I say, it's hot. So I say, okay, I'll have some water. Yes, thank you. And they'll bring me lukewarm water. And when I left the boardroom, the guy said, if you want more water, the machine is over there. There's a hot and a cold tap. So I go, okay. So I go there, and the hot water tap gives out hot water, but the cold water tap gives out warm water. So I didn't really see the point of that, and I didn't see a fridge anywhere either. So yeah, I think they're used to their warm water. I think that's the way they actually prefer it. So just weird. You cannot drink water out of a tap in China. You have to either boil it or use bottled water. I bought some bottled water, and it's very cheap. I think I paid like 3 rand for this liter bottle. So I've got 1.5 liter bottle. So I bought two of these. I haven't really used them much, so I'm taking with to my flat, obviously. Yeah. In general, the cool drink is cheaper. I mean, a 2 liter Pepsi, I think, was about 7 rand for a 2 liter Pepsi. It's half of what it costs in South Africa, but there's no fridge, so it's warm. So I think this bottle lasted me about 5 days, and it's still water left. So yeah, the cups come with little lids. You've got a cup, and then it's got a little lid. All the cups are like that in China. Pretty much, if you get served tea or coffee, it's got a little lid on it. Now, the ones here in the hotel are blank, but pretty much everywhere else you go, it's always got these little Chinese patterns and stuff. They've also got these weird little, geez, it actually looks like an ashtray. It's a little higher though, and they drink out of that as well. So weird cups. I saw those on the airplane as well. The food, you get a lot of bakeries. I mean, in my street alone, I think there's like 5 bakeries, and they sell mixed. They'll sell like the Chinese version of the bagel or a donut or whatever, and it's actually very, very similar to the South African or the Western one. They might just put filling inside the donut. And you think to yourself, but it's not really a donut, because now they've somehow cut the ring in half and they filled it up with some kind of cream, or I don't know what it is. But yeah, the people are quite friendly, I must say. Um, for the most part, they try and help you. I was actually embarrassed one morning because I was standing in a queue in a shop, and one of the guys, the guy behind the till, there were three guys in front of me in the queue, and then I think like two guys behind me, and he looked up and he saw me, and obviously I'm a foreigner. I don't know if he thought I had money or whatever, but he automatically shooed the three guys in front of me right over, and then came to serve me first. So I was like, wow, they were here first, and he's like, no, 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 he'll serve me. So they seem to love to do business with foreigners, which is kind of what I heard about China even before I came. So I wouldn't say I was shocked. I was just taken a little bit by surprise. The three guys obviously weren't impressed. So yeah, it's been an experience. I haven't really gone out much. I'm not much of a drinker at all. So I went out one night to a pub. I was invited to like a foreigners pub, so there are a lot of English speaking people there. So that was nice. Um, but apart from that, I haven't really like gone to the nightlife much, especially because I know I'm only here in this city for a couple of days. Well, I suppose once I move into my apartment and get settled in Suchao, I may check out the nightlife more. As far as understand, the Suchao actually has a sort of a foreigners club, and I don't mean like a nightclub. They actually have a club where all the foreigners get together and they go all over the city. They meet like almost every day and they'll do something. They get involved with charity work, and they do book clubs, and I don't know what everything, what's all involved, but I do know there's a like a foreigners thing going on there. So I'll probably join that, and you can kind of choose the events that you want to go to. Um, so yeah, China is awesome, really awesome. I was told when I left South Africa, before I left South Africa, I was told, I'm going to see a lot of poor local people, and that's not true actually. At least not the two cities I've been in. Like I said, everybody here has an iPhone. Everybody's dressed neatly. At least the girls are. They kind of look like whatever they're wearing was just bought. It doesn't look old or anything like that. The girls are pretty, very, very pretty. They really take very good care of themselves. You often see them walking with umbrellas, even if it's not raining. It's because they try and sort of, they don't want to. They try and keep their skin as light as possible. White is seen as superior here. So if you're white, you're kind of considered elite, which is actually ridiculous, but that's just the way they think. And it's got to do with the Chinese culture, where they assume that the poorer people work in the streets, cleaning streets, and farmers and so forth. They spend most of their days in the sun, so they automatically tan darker. And the people that sit in the offices and earn the big money don't go into the sun much, so they have lighter skin. So it's not really a race thing. It's more like what would you call it? Oh, my mind's blank now. But you know what I mean. They see it as a from a business perspective. So yeah, I had a couple of people phoning me with job offers, and then they ask me, "You from Africa?" And I say, "No, I'm from South Africa." And they say, "Are you black?" And then I say, "No, I'm white." They go, oh, "Okay, good, good, good." So I go, "Why?" They say, "No, no, no. Their client does not want a black person." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I am white." So yeah, I don't think they see those comments as racist, really. Like, I think if I had been a black guy, I would have probably really been offended by that. But um, I don't think it's like a racist way of them. I don't think they see it as racist. Anyway, besides the point, um, my point is that for some reason whites are seen as elite here. So it's really weird. Coming from South Africa, it's really weird that it's like the opposite here. There's lots of opportunities. I've had lots and lots of job offers here, and half the time I wasn't even looking. People just phone me out of the blue. I don't know how they even get hold of my number. Maybe because I registered it. It's on the system. Um, but yeah, it's been surreal. It's been fun. Um, I'm gonna start working soon, so I'll get to see the whole working environment and how that is. And once I move into my apartment, which hopefully will be today, I will actually probably be more settled and do some more exploring in the actual city where I'm supposed to be, which I heard isn't very different from this one. Just I think it's got more foreign stuff, so that's nice. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for the last 5 days I've been here. I've learned quite a lot of Chinese words. I think about 20, maybe even 30 Chinese words. I don't even remember half of them, but they kind of come to me when I need them to come to me. But yeah, I'm learning Chinese quite quickly, I must say. And I get to walk. I get to walk a lot. So I really like that. Because in South Africa, I was working on the Linux project, I was kind of behind the PC for most of the day. I didn't really stay very fit and so forth. Whereas in China, you walk a lot. Even when you get off on a bus, you got to go to the end of the block or 2 blocks down, and these blocks are huge, like way bigger than the ones in South Africa. So you get to walk a lot here. I really like that. I think, in fact, I don't think I'm going to get one of those e-bikes, even though the bicycles and the e-bikes are very similar priced. There's like 100, maybe 200 yuan difference in price. I think I'm probably going to opt to go for a bicycle instead. Nice way to keep fit. Then I don't have to hit the gym every day or anything like that. I can just drive the bicycle. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much my last 5 days in China, or my first 5 days in China, should I say. I'll probably make more videos as I go, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. Crime is very low. A lot of the things here are cheap if you know where to buy. Um, so yeah, I will chat to you guys soon, I guess. Cheers.